as an exercise physiologist, what we are taught is that exercise is for everybody at every stage. It just has to be modified. So, carbohydrate is the body's easiest and most preferred energy source.
Pizza khayacha before a marathon is like the most attraction.
Exactly. You need 8 to 12 grams of carbohydrate per kg body weight every day for this athlete. So the only fat which is really the problem is the man-made fat. Okay, it's called as trans fat. So जे लोक protein shake फक्त protein shake पितात व्यायामानंतर, it's actually functioning to just maintain their blood glucose levels so that they don't crash till they reach home. Salt is the most important electrolyte. Okay, so
all the meetings and meetups are coffee based. So caffeine, how does caffeine really work for athletes?
Every activity has a different metabolic score, like a MET score.
Welcome to the Speaking Wheel Show, Season 4, Episode 2. Currently, a trend of people participating into triathlons or ultra cycling events or races, time trials is on the rise. What we thought that why not do an episode which targets more on a factor which is sometimes overlooked while participating in such high endurance sports, that is fueling. So nutrition, hydration is a very important aspect while you are training for such a sport, but that is often kind of overlooked, or there are certain myths about this particular aspects. So today we are trying to kind of give you tips, burst some myths, and generally have a informal discussion as always on this aspect. So today's guest is Maitreyi Bokil, and welcome.
Thank you.
So she is a nutritionist and a triathlete and a runner herself. So she is one of the best persons to discuss on this subject with us. So welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So before we start, a quick introduction about yourself. कारण तू स्वतः triathlete आहेस. You've done a number of ultra races. And you are a dietitian and a nutritionist and exercise physiologist, right?
Yes.
So that is,
Yes.
So what all is that?
So I think you've pretty much said everything that I am. So I am a nutritionist and exercise physiologist.
Yeah.
What that means is a lot of us think that when we're unwell or when we have, God forbid, a condition that requires us to be medicated for a long time, say cancer असेल किंवा कुठलाही autoimmune condition असेल, which is draining us of energy. And while we may think, or the world may tell us, that exercise is not for you right now, as an exercise physiologist, what we are taught is that exercise is for everybody at every stage. It just has to be modified. So while you may not be doing clean and jerk and deadlifts and cycling, but it can be modified to fit your requirement, and it always will work in your favor. Yeah.
That is
interesting. It should be done under supervision.
Correct.
And at times it can be as simple as just lifting your toes up or utha basha from the couch or from the bed that you are on. Right? Any activity which is done with the intention of of creating some enhancement in your physicality is exercise. So that can be your exercise at that point. So,
Nice. So, like today's main topic is fueling, nutrition and hydration.
Yes.
So, generally terms, basically काय येतं under nutrition and hydration? Let's briefly bracket that.
Right. So, you have to refuel, you have to replenish, and you have to rehydrate. That is very, very important. Now, when it comes to आपण नेहमी जेव्हा एक्सरसाइज चालू करतो तेव्हा आपण जर सकाळी चालू केला तरी आपण रात्रीचं जेवण खाल्लेलं आहे, सो वी हॅव ऑलरेडी फ्युएल्ड. पण तो एक्सरसाइज सेशन चालू करायच्या आधी वी हॅव टू रिफ्युएल. दॅट इज इम्पॉर्टंट. अँड एक्सरसाइज मध्ये जो आपण सबस्ट्रेट वापरतो, इट कुड बी कार्बोहायड्रेट्स, इट कुड बी फॅट, इट कुड बी प्रोटीन, इट इज युजली ऑल थ्री. यू हॅव टू रिप्लेनिश इट, ड्युरिंग द एक्सरसाइज सेशन अँड आफ्टर. अँड यू हॅव टू परत आपण 1 ग्लास पाणी पिऊन तरी आपण आपलं सायकलिंग किंवा रनिंग चालू करणार आहे. आपण असं नाही की उठून डायरेक्ट कॉफी तरी पितोच, त्याच्यामध्ये पाणी जातोच. पण आता आपल्याला रिहायड्रेट करणं खूपच आवश्यक असतं, बोथ ड्युरिंग द सेशन अँड आफ्टर द सेशन. सो दॅट इज what is nutrition and hydration, refueling, rehydration and replenishment.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Nice. आणि आता तू प्रोटीन्स, फॅट्स, कार्ब म्हणाली, सो देर इज अ टर्म कॉल्ड कार्ब लोडिंग. म्हणजे जनरली जेव्हा पीपल गेट इन टू ऑल दीज इव्हेंट्स, तर आदल्या दिवशी कार्ब लोडिंग करायचं. दिस इज अ व्हेरी पॉप्युलर टर्म. सो व्हॉट एक्झॅक्टली इज अ कार्ब लोडिंग? Or there is a term which now people say ki good fats आणि bad fats. So what is good fats? What are bad fats? प्रोटीन लहानपणीपासून सांगितलं की नाही प्रोटीन खाच, तर किती प्रोटीन्स खायला पाहिजे ह्याचं ना कोणाला ऍक्च्युली किती खरंच माहिती आहे, किंवा द इन्फॉर्मेशन अवेलेबल हाऊ जेन्युइन इट इज, वी हॅव नो क्लू. कुठनं तरी ऐकलं जातं, कोणीतरी सांगतं. सो हाऊ डू वी ब्रेक दॅट?
कुठून चालू करायचंय?
Carb loading. Let's do carb loading.
Yes. So, first of all, I'd like to say that in the life of a person who exercises every day and spends a significant amount of time in that activity is called as an athlete.
Right.
So it could be
Nice.
CrossFit, it could be high rocks, it could be cycling, it could be swimming, it could be anything.
Right.
Okay, if you're spending a significant amount of physical time and mental time thinking about it, then you're an athlete. Okay.
Nice.
So, carbohydrate is the body's easiest and most preferred energy source. Okay. So the body, it's C6H12O6. It's a very small unit of energy. So the body does not need a lot of oxygen to break this substrate down. So खूप लवकर कार्बोहायड्रेटचा वापर ट्रान्झिशन एनर्जी मध्ये होतो.
Okay.
So that is why when we exercise, the body starts using carbohydrates.
Okay.
It loves to use carbohydrates.
Okay.
Which is why whether we are in a fed state or we are in a fasted state, we always have enough carbohydrates in us.
Okay.
We're never deprived of carbohydrates. Okay. So our muscles are capable of storing a finite amount of carbohydrates. Okay. So आता प्रश्न आला की what is this carbohydrate loading? So historically असं होतं की they used to taper एक खूप रिगरस वर्कआउट करवायचे ऍथलीट्स, आणि मग त्यांची ऍक्टिव्हिटी लेवल टेपर करायचे, आणि मग सायमल्टेनियसली त्यांचा कार्बोहायड्रेटचा इंटेक वाढवायचे विथ द होप्स दॅट यू विल बी सो प्राइम्ड ऑन युअर फायनल रेस डे टू यूज दिस इझिली अवेलेबल सबस्ट्रेट.
Okay.
But there is a lot of research to show that we don't really need to carb load.
Okay.
We need to just adapt to the activity that we're doing. So if you are training for a race, or if you're spending, an hour and a half in training every day, then your carbohydrate requirement is higher than somebody who's not exercising that much. I think we all are, running behind these low carbohydrate diets, and we think of one day before the race day as some amazing opportunity to eat everything that we always wanted to eat. That is not carb loading. That is just something that is indulgence.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because pizza खायचा before a marathon is like the most attraction.
Exactly. So what is the rule, right? For an athlete who's exercising 3 to 4 to 6 hours every day, it can vary. So you need 8 to 12 grams of carbohydrate per kg body weight every day for this athlete. तर आता त्याला काय कार्ब लोडिंग आहे? सो ही इज एनीवेज हॅबिच्युएटेड टू अ हायर कार्बोहायड्रेट इंटेक, राईट? Maybe just 2-3 days before his main competition, his activity level will go down.
Okay.
So there's absolutely no expenditure of carbohydrates, and he or she is fully primed to perform on race day.
Okay.
So you don't need to carb load. You need to have a higher carbohydrate intake, or at least pre-workout, during workout, post-workout, couple of meals need to have the carbohydrates that you've used in the activity and that you need to store before your next activity.
Okay. ओके.
आणि तसं केलं तर मग लोडिंग करायची गरज नाहीये. कारण काय आहे ना, इफ युअर स्टमक और युअर स्मॉल इंटेस्टाइन इज नॉट प्राइम टू स्टोर अँड डायजेस्ट द कार्बोहायड्रेट्स लाईक दॅट, इट मे नॉट वर्क वेल फॉर अस. कधी कधी डायरिया होऊ शकतो.
करेक्ट. इट मे गो द अदर वे.
हा, आणि आपण काय मस्त झोपत नाही रेस्टच्या आधी,
Right.
कोणाला झोप येत नाही.
राईट.
So lack of sleep is also going to affect your gut,
राईट.
So why do something that's new just before race day?
ओके. ओके.
So I would say everybody who is doing an activity and they want to excel in it, you will only perform better if you fuel better. What is fueling better is you need to eat slightly more carbohydrates than what you think you need to, because
Okay.
आजकाल सगळे low carbs खात आहेत. So तसं केलं तर your body will perform well. It will be able to absorb the impact of the session, and you won't have to really do much before race day. You still want to eat that pizza, you eat it, that's fine, but don't eat like 3 pizzas. There's no, you don't
Okay.
really need to, unless you do it also before a major training session for a
Acha.
while.
Okay.
You have to be habituated with it.
ओके.
That is the thing.
ओके. आणि जनरली कार्ब्स मध्ये इन इंडियन किंवा महाराष्ट्रीयन कॉन्टेक्स्ट किंवा इंडियन कॉन्टेक्स्ट काय व्हॉट इज, कारण पिझ्झा पास्ता हे लाईक यू राईटली सेड प्रॉब्ली इट इज अ सेन्स ऑफ इंटेलिजन्स की आता इतके दिवस ट्रेनिंग झाले, आता आपल्याला सो पिझ्झा पास्ता इज द ट्रेंड दॅट पीपल आर फॉलोइंग. बट देन वेन यू से की यू आर नॉट, यू शुड नॉट डू दॅट इंटेलिजन्स, तर काय काइंड ऑफ कार्ब्स आर गुड कार्ब्स?
Yeah, all carbs are good carbs.
ओके.
Yes, but आपल्या इंडियन कॉन्टेक्स्ट मध्ये we are actually very blessed to be a rice eating
ओके.
nation. काही लोकांना, so rice is also very very easy on the stomach.
Okay.
Very few people report bloating झालंय भात खाऊन, असं कोणी म्हणत नाही.
ओके.
It's just that एवढा भात खाल्लाय, that is the guilt.
ओके.
But I have not heard anybody saying ki,
Okay.
they get some GI distress. So rice is a very very easy source of carbohydrate. Everybody's gut is different, right? I am not a rice eater. I like pori and bhakri.
ओके.
So that works for me.
ओके.
You just have to find what works for you, practice it before every major training session, and replicate
Okay.
exactly that
ओके.
before, if you're an Indian who's living abroad and who really can't make, who doesn't like rice and who really can't make pori and then you eat, and if you're okay with bread, then that is your choice of carbohydrate or pasta.
ओके.
असं काही कुठल्याही कार्बोहायड्रेटला विलिफाय करायची गरज नाहीये. इट इज ऑल अबाउट व्हॉट वर्क्स फॉर यू.
करेक्ट.
आणि कधी कधी काय असं आपल्याला मेंटली पण जर पास्ता आवडत असेल, पण लोक म्हणतात अरे तू महाराष्ट्रीयन आहेस काय तू पास्ता खातोस, पण तो त्या माणसाला किंवा त्या बाईला आवडत असेल तर खाऊ दे ना.
या.
It's fine.
करेक्ट. नाईस. नाईस.
Yeah.
पहिलं तर फॅट्स असं होतं की नाही फॅट्स खाल्ल्याने तुम्ही फॅट होणार. ठीक आहे.
हो.
तर आता गुड फॅट बॅड फॅट्स असा एक कॉन्सेप्ट आलाय. सो कॅन वी एलॅबोरेट ऑन दॅट?
So that's a very, very old concept. And it's
Okay.
one scientist called Dr. Keyes, Ansel Keys, who had published this paper on a very limited evidence saying that saturated fat, म्हणजे animal derived fat जास्त खाल्लं तर त्याचा there is a direct link to risk of elevated heart diseases.
ओके.
It could be heart attack or a stroke maybe.
ओके.
Okay, but now people are really debating that.
Okay.
And there are definitely good fats, and what is a good fat is something that your body cannot synthesize internally. You have to take it in from the food that
Okay.
you are eating, right? So the reason I started with talking about saturated fat is because instantly लोक त्याला म्हणतात की saturated fat is a bad fat.
ओके.
It's actually not. It's very much in the context of where your health is. If you think about it, ती पण natural फॅटच आहे, ती काय आपण लॅब मध्ये बनवलेली नाही.
बरोबर. बरोबर.
Similar to the omega-3 and omega-6, which are the good fats. Okay, so there are polyunsaturated fats, monounsaturated fat, and saturated fat. So now, again, according to this paper, the polyunsaturated and monounsaturated म्हणजे आपल्याला जवसातनं जे मिळतात, आपल्याला फिश खाऊन जे मिळतात, आपल्याला अक्रोड, बदाम, चिया सीड्स मधनं जे मिळतात, दोज आर द गुड फॅट्स. ते खाल्ल्याने आपले आर्टरीज आर्टरीज मधला जो जर कोलेस्ट्रॉल डिपॉझिशन आहे तर ते ऍक्च्युली कमी होतं.
हो अच्छा
आपली एनर्जी लेवल वाढते, आपली इम्युनिटी वाढते. असं थोडासा एव्हिडन्स आहे, पण
Okay.
ऍक्च्युली देयर इज नो असं डायरेक्टली
Direct.
यू कांट सी द बेनिफिट, बिकॉज इफ अ पर्सन इज सो पर्टिक्युलर अबाउट हिज गुड फॅट इंटेक, ही इज गोइंग टू बी पर्टिक्युलर अबाउट एव्हरीथिंग एल्स
Right.
ऑल्सो, राईट?
Right.
You can't be smoking, drinking, popping an omega-3 and expecting it to work
Right.
wonders.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
well put.
So the only fat which is really the problem is the man-made fat. Okay, it's called as trans fat. ती
Ah.
actually saturated fat ची shelf life वाढवायला ती बनवलेली जाते.
Okay.
So basically hydrogenated oil ज्याला म्हणतात.
Okay.
So it is in all your products which are very crunchy and very tasty and which have a very long shelf life.
Okay.
म्हणजे बिस्किटं झाली किंवा ऑइल जेव्हा सारखं सारखं फ्राय होतं तेव्हा त्याचे प्रॉपर्टीज बदलू शकतात अँड
Right.
इट कुड बी नॉट ग्रेट फॉर अस टू हँडल.
Okay.
आपण खूपच असे समोसे कचोरी वगैरे खाल्लं
Oh.
सारखं सारखं
Okay.
तर तो प्रॉब्लेम होऊ शकतो. बट ऑल युअर बिस्किट्स अँड बेकरी प्रोडक्ट्स,
Okay.
कधी कधी चिवडे वगैरे वगैरे,
Oh.
all of that is the kind of fat that is difficult for us to process.
Oh.
That is called as trans fat.
Okay.
And that in combination with a family history of increased LDL किंवा triglycerides किंवा that coupled with a really bad diet and erratic sleeping schedule, all of this could then
Oh.
lead to some sort of health condition.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So according to me as a nutritionist, saturated fat is not. आता माझ्याकडे बॉक्सर्स येतात, ती लहान लहान मुलं असतात 19-20 वर्षाची, ते तूप पिऊन झोपतात. कारण काय होतं ना, कधी कधी एक्सरसाइज करून करून ॲपेटाईट कमी होतं, जे ऑब्व्हियसली वी हॅव नॉट हर्ड ऑफ सच. बट when you see these kids, they're like, we cannot eat now, we're tired.
Oh. Okay.
तर ते डिहायड्रेटेड, इनफ पाणी पित नाहीत, तर त्यामुळे ॲपेटाईट कमी होतं. सो देन हाऊ डू यू एक्सपेक्ट देम टू गेट इन देअर कॅलरीज?
Right.
ते तूप पिऊन झोपतात अँड दे आर परफेक्टली फाईन.
Right.
But then if you tell me about a man or a woman who's just recently picked up a sport, has not had the healthiest lifestyle earlier, would I recommend her or him drink toop for sleeping? No, definitely not. Definitely not.
Nice.
So it's all in context.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Right. Right. आणि the third part protein.
हा.
की प्रोटीन तर पाहिजेच आपल्याला, असं दॅट इज द कॉन्सेप्ट जे लहानपणापासून सांगण्यात आलं. आता ह्याच्यात देर इज अ थिअरी की जनरली नॉनव्हेज मधनं जास्ती प्रोटीन मिळतं आणि व्हेजिटेरियन्स मधनं मिळत नाही, असं एक अगेन इट्स प्रॉब्ली अ मिथ ऑर वॉट, यू कॅन प्रॉब्ली एलॅबोरेट मोर ऑन दॅट.
Right. So protein is a very, very important food group, ज्याला macronutrient म्हणतो आपण. And the RDA, the recommended dietary allowance, is 0.8 gram per kg body weight, but that has also been disputed, and everybody says you definitely need more than that.
Okay.
Okay. But please realize that the body does not store protein.
Okay.
If we eat more protein, it's going to get converted to what we are doing at that particular time.
Okay.
If I'm just sitting on my desk and I'm eating a ton of steak, or I'm eating only chicken, 200 gram chicken, it is going to get converted to fat.
Oh,
कारण
okay.
तेव्हा मुवमेंट नाहीये.
Okay.
इफ आय एम नॉट इटिंग कार्बोहायड्रेट्स आणि मी पोस्ट वर्कआउट फक्त प्रोटीन शेक वर प्रोटीन शेक पितीये, इट्स गोइंग टू गो टू द लिव्हर, अंडरगो अ प्रोसेस कॉल्ड ग्लुकोनिओजेनेसिस, as formation of glucose from non-glucose sources,
Okay.
and it's going to get converted to glucose.
Okay.
सो जे लोक प्रोटीन शेक फक्त प्रोटीन शेक पितात व्यायामानंतर, इट्स ऍक्च्युअली फंक्शनिंग टू जस्ट मेंटेन देअर ब्लड ग्लुकोज लेवल्स सो दॅट दे डोंट क्रॅश टिल दे रीच होम.
Okay.
Protein, you cannot have it in place of carbohydrates or in place of fat. It has a place of its own.
Okay.
It's a good idea to have about 15 to 20 grams of protein at each meal.
Okay.
If you are anywhere between 80, if your weight is still 80 kilograms, if you're more than 80 kilograms, and if you're 100, 120, 150, whatever, then you have to know that you are more than welcome to have your body weight in terms of protein, okay? But be careful of your health. Don't sit having 30, 40 grams of high fat protein, because then that could be an issue.
Right.
20 to 25 grams max every meal, breakfast, lunch, dinner, is a good, along with everything else, is a good, is a good number. It is required for growth repair.
ओके
आणि ग्रोथ आणि रिपेअर एक्सरसाइज सेशन मध्ये किंवा इमिडिएटली होत नाही, ते ओव्हर टाइम होते.
ओके
So the protein to carbohydrates ratio is actually 2:1 or even 4:1. हा म्हणजे कार्बोहायड्रेट टू प्रोटीनचा रेशो should be 2:1 or 4:1 depending on what is the duration and the intensity of the exercise.
दिस इज अ नाईस थिंग दॅट यू हॅव मेन्शन. कारण सध्या जिम मध्ये कधी म्हणजे एसटी सेशन झाल्यावर देर इज अ ट्रेंड ऑफ कॅरिंग युअर प्रोटीन शेक आणि हॅव्हिंग इट ऑल द टाइम. सो दिस इज अ नाईस इन्साइट.
Add a carb to it. If all of us sit using protein now, we'll die in the gym only. Like we cannot break down protein so much, right?
ओके
Muscle breakdown केवढा होईल मग? It's not possible.
राईट. सो ट्रेनिंग मध्ये यू आर सेइंग दॅट people have to look into carbs, fats and protein. Is that weightage in that order की असं काही नाही आहे?
Training करताना predominant fuel is carbohydrate.
Okay.
Okay, whether you're fed or fasted, because your body is going to do something, break down muscle, this that, and is going to give you enough glucose stores to take you through a 1 hour activity. Okay, but you don't want to stress the body so much, कारण आपण रोज उठून व्यायाम करतोय. असं आपण if we are doing an exercise in a fasted state and not fueling well, आपण आजारी पडू, केस गळतील, आजारी पडू. ते सगळं नको असेल तर eat a carbohydrate snack before the workout. Eat if the activity is 1 hour and if you fueled well before, you don't need to eat anything. If it is like a 2 hour 3 hour session, then the rule of thumb is 60 gram carbohydrate per hour minimum, because that's the rate of glucose oxidation is 1 gram per minute. आणि ऍक्टिव्हिटी नंतर डेफिनेटली प्रोटीन घ्या, पण त्याच्याबरोबर कार्ब पण घ्या, कारण तेच वापरलंय आपण.
ओके. This is a very important point. Probably many people miss out on this, I think.
हो, कारण एक्सरसाइज मेक्स अस फील सो गुड, राईट, दॅट वी वॉन्ट टू डू एव्हरीथिंग वी कॅन टू मेंटेन दिस फीलिंग, अँड समहाऊ वी जस्ट विलनाइज कार्बोहायड्रेट्स. मग व्यायामानंतर नाही खायचे बाबा, मग रात्री मी आईस्क्रीम खाईन जेवणानंतर, दॅट नोबडी टॉक्स अबाउट, बट व्यायामानंतर नाही खायचे. ऍक्च्युअली इट इज एक्झॅक्टली दी अदर वे. या
सो आणि प्री वर्कआउट, ड्युरिंग वर्कआउट आणि पोस्ट वर्कआउट, सो असं काही वेगळे डाएट फॉलो करायचे असतात की असं काय, देर इज नो थंब रूल एज सच की आहे?
No, there is a thumb rule. So it is 1 gram carbohydrate per kg body weight 1 hour before training.
अच्छा.
सो तुमचं जेवढं बॉडी वेट आहे, आणि आपण आता सकाळी तुम्ही सायकलिंगला लवकरच उठत असाल, सो यू हॅव टू मेक शुअर दॅट यू आर eating, at least eating or drinking, a combination. Right? तुम्ही एनर्जाल कमर्शियली प्रिपेअर्ड कार्बोहायड्रेट ड्रिंक पेलात तरी चालेल, कारण सकाळी उठून किती खाणार, राईट? दॅट इज ऑलवेज अ प्रॉब्लेम. सो in any way you should, because you're such an advanced cyclist and you only want to get better,
right?
Then you want to eat 1 gram carbohydrate per kg body weight 1 hour before cycling.
Okay.
It's the same. So 4 gram per carbohydrate per kg body weight 4 hours before cycling. असा तो रूल आहे, 4 3 2 1.
Okay.
आणि मग तसं केलं, and then when you sit to do your activity, it is like I said, minimum of 60 grams of carbohydrate per hour. गरज वाटली नाही, एका तासाची ऍक्टिव्हिटी असेल तर मी बोलत नाहीये, वी आर टॉकिंग ओनली अबाउट एनिथिंग विच इज लाईक 60-50 kilometers and beyond of cycling, or anything which is say 15 or 20 kilometers or more of running, or like a 5 kilometer swim. Okay. Or even any CrossFit lift, like a lifting, a focused lifting session, which is going to carry on for a long time, and you're not really doing a lot of time pass between.
Right.
It's a focused recovery, like it's a timed recovery. Right. So then minimum of 60 grams of carbohydrate per hour. Again, through a combination of food and drink. तुम्ही 2 जेल्स खाऊ शकता, किंवा कमर्शियल ड्रिंक पिऊ शकता ज्याच्यात ऑलरेडी ऍडेड कार्बोहायड्रेट्स आहेत.
ओके.
आणि पोस्ट, लाईक आय सेड, प्लीज ईट, इट ऑल डिपेंड. तुम्ही लगेचच कामाला जाणार असाल आणि ब्रेकफास्टला वेळ नसेल तर समथिंग लाईक 2 bananas and a protein shake, right? So that's 2:1. तर कार्बोहायड्रेट प्रोटीनचा रेशो, अँड देन यू आर सेट. मग काळजी करायची गरज नाही की माझं फ्युलिंग होतंय. मग जेव्हा वेळ मिळेल तेव्हा तुम्ही काहीतरी एग्स आणि इडली किंवा असं काहीतरी नंतर खाऊ शकता.
अच्छा, नाईस. आणि व्हॉट अबाउट शुगर्स? कारण शुगर अगेन बिकम्स अ व्हेरी ट्रिकी सब्जेक्ट. म्हणजे लोक म्हणतात की खूप हेवी वर्कआउट झाला की, किंवा स्निकरचं खूप चांगलं किंवा 5 स्टारचं चांगलं एक्झाम्पल आहे की ते वर्कआउट नंतर खा असं सगळे म्हणतात. म्हणजे फॉर द शुगर्स, आणि आधी खाऊ नका असं एक अजून एक थिअरी आहे. सो व्हॉट अबाउट शुगर्स?
So sugar is carbohydrate, carbohydrate is sugar.
ओके.
Okay, there are complex carbohydrates and simple
राईट.
carbohydrates. Sugar, everything eventually breaks down to sugar.
राईट.
Okay, so आता जर तुम्हाला वर्कआउटच्या आधी फक्त 5 स्टारच असेल घरी, प्लीज खावा.
ओके.
दॅट इज गोइंग टू गिव्ह यू 20 grams of sugar, whatever it is,
Okay.
right? And during the workout, so many cyclists eat a 5 star every hour, a sneaker every hour. If it suits you,
ओके.
do it.
ओके.
And when I say carbohydrate, I mean sugar only.
ओके.
So that could come from anywhere. Please adi khawa, during khawa, nantar
Okay,
khawa. It's
okay.
all good.
ओके.
You just have to realize that with sneakers, the fat level is also high.
हा, एक्झॅक्टली. आय वॉज जस्ट गोइंग टू आस्क यू दॅट.
So that's okay. There are, again, I see so many of these kids who are state level cyclists, national level cyclists, or whatever, or triathletes. They are perfectly fine. Their performance actually improves after a sneaker because
Okay.
it also gives them calories.
Okay.
300 calories वगैरे per hour मिळाले की मग त्यांना ते छान करता येतं.
Oh.
Because they are also fat adapted. You have to understand. व्यायाम करून करून you increase the number of mitochondria on your individual muscle cells.
Okay.
Right? So you are increasing sites of both carbohydrate and fat
Oh.
oxidation, which is are also ultimate. Stamina वाढला म्हणजे काय? You are able to take in more oxygen with less effort.
Right.
You need to break down fat. You have to take in huge amounts of effort.
Right.
आता ह्यांचे FTPs केवढे असतात, राईट?
बरोबर.
पण असते, माझा अजिबात नाहीये. But you get the point.
Yeah. Yes.
So आता आपण स्नीकर खाणं versus a kid who is doing this professionally or even a master's athlete who is so much more fat adapted, खाऊ दे. पण फॉर अ बिगिनर सायकलिस्ट मे बी इथे लार्ज इंटेस्टाईन मध्येच ते फॅट जाऊन अडकेल आणि मग बाथरूमला जायला लागेल, हे होईल ते होईल.
राईट. आणि मग मगाशी म्हणलं असं की व्हेजिटेरियन, नॉन व्हेजिटेरियन, हाऊ डज दॅट वर्क?
Yeah. So there are complete proteins and there are incomplete proteins. A complete protein has 9 components to it. 9 amino acids make one complete protein. Okay. आणि incomplete protein मध्ये एखादा amino acid नसतो.
Okay.
Which is why it is an incomplete
Okay.
protein. So a lot of the animal proteins, not a lot, all of the animal proteins are what are called as complete proteins. So
Okay.
if you eat an animal protein, then rest assured, even एक घास जरी खाल्ला तर you are getting great quality protein.
Okay.
But with vegetarian proteins काय करायला लागतं की you have to make combinations. It's very easy. मग वरण भात, right? Why do people say that वरण भात is high protein? It's not actually. But भातामध्ये जो अमायनो ऍसिड मिसिंग असतो तो वर्णात असतो.
अच्छा.
So that way you get the complete protein.
Right.
You get a lot, maybe triple the carbs for that meal,
Right.
but you get complete protein.
Yeah.
So vegetarians na, it's absolutely fine to be vegetarian. There's no problem, but you just want to eat. You'll have to eat more to
Okay.
get that much protein. If you're okay with that, go for it.
Oh, okay. सो प्रॉब्ली हे न्यूट्रिशन ऍस्पेक्टचं थोडंफार आपण टच केलं. आता हायड्रेशन जेव्हा आपण म्हणतो
हां.
तेव्हा वॉटर बिकम्स अ व्हेरी इम्पॉर्टंट फीचर. इन ॲडिशन टू वॉटर देर आर एनर्जी ड्रिंक्स किंवा देर आर आपण इलेक्ट्रोलाइट्स मिक्स करतो. सो हाऊ डज दॅट प्ले अ रोल?
So there are every hydration type has its place. If it's a 1 hour training and it's not something that you're pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, it's not a VO2 max, it's not a time trial, it's not a swim where you're using a lot of equipment like those fins and everything. It's a regular activity.
Yeah.
You can drink plain water. It's
Okay.
fine. If you are doing anything which is more than an hour, or if you're doing 1 hour of a VO2 max, time trial, you have to realize that you're going to be doing a lot more muscle contractions than what you would have done in an easier workout,
Right.
right? And every muscle contraction activates your sodium potassium pump, and you need a certain amount of sodium is required to facilitate that movement.
Okay.
So you have to take it in, because your body will not be able to cope up with these muscle contractions without the salt.
Okay.
And salt is the most important electrolyte.
Okay.
Okay, so at the base level, लिंबू पाणी मीठ तरी घ्यायलाच पाहिजे.
Okay.
And then water becomes tertiary, not even secondary, it becomes tertiary.
Oh, okay.
फक्त तोंडातली चव बदलायला, गुळणा करायला, डोक्यावर टाकायला वगैरे वगैरे पाण्याचा वापर करा.
Oh, okay.
पण if you are somebody who's really pushing the watts or pushing the numbers or for your pace on the run, or swim or whatever, you make sure that your water has some sort of salt.
Okay.
Now when do energy drinks come in the play? When you can't eat that much food,
Right.
जर तुम्हाला 2 युनिवेटचे 45 ग्रॅमचे जेल्स पर आवरला खाणं जमत असेल, then you don't need an energy drink.
Okay.
तिकडे होत आहेत.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
But if you're like, oh, नाही मी खाऊ शकत, मला असंच होतं तसंच होतं, then you have to then put the sugar in your liquid also.
Okay. Okay. Now this is थोडंफार आपण ओव्हरऑल टच केलं.
हो.
आता मला असं विचारायचं आहे की एक ॲथलीट आहे, ही इज लेट अस से माझंच एक्झाम्पल घेऊ की सायकलिंग करताना माझं न्यूट्रिशन हायड्रेशन एक पर्टिक्युलर काहीतरी मी फॉलो करतोय, पण वेन आय एम चेंजिंग द स्पोर्ट, से लेट से आय एम डुईंग अ फुल मॅरेथॉन, तेव्हा माझं हायड्रेशन न्यूट्रिशन सेम राहायला पाहिजे की चेंज व्हायला पाहिजे, की अगेन दिस इज व्हेरी पर्सन टू पर्सन. कॅन दिस बी जेनेरिकली classified ki it is very very person specific?
So it all depends on, to answer your question in one line, there is no difference.
Okay.
There is no difference.
Okay.
You're spending 4 hours on the bike, you're spending 6 hours on the run. If
Okay.
you think about it.
Okay.
You're actually doing more running, you're spending more time on the run.
Right.
I'm just saying 6 hours.
Yeah.
It could be 4 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now if you are you trying to ask me if the same person is cycling and then running after that, like a brick workout?
So that also is a possibility. So triathletes काहीतरी वेगळं schedule असेल.
So now let's take it separate. Okay, a cyclist and a runner. Okay, now if you're a cyclist, at the base level you need 60 grams per hour. Okay, now if you want to do 90 kilometers in 2 hours, you're going to be really pushing the watts, right? And that means you need a lot more oxygen very very quickly.
Right.
So that means your body is going to break down carbohydrates like 100 times faster than what it is if you were doing 90 kilometers in 3.5 hours.
Right.
So you need more carbohydrates. So with 60 is your base, you can go up to 90.
Okay.
Absolutely, yes. Similarly on the run, it's all about how fast you're going.
Okay.
The faster you run, the more carbs you need.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Now if you're a triathlete, let's firstly take somebody who's good at either of the sport.
Right.
Okay. So if you're a cyclist and you're pelting it on the cycle, keep your nutrition amazing on the cycle. 60 to 90 to आजकाल athletes 120 grams पण घेतात.
Okay.
Okay. So make sure that your cycling is like a buffet. You're really eating because it's not new to you. You're a cyclist.
Right.
It's your sport.
Right.
And then running, you're like, hey, बघू
बरोबर.
ठीक आहे. But if it is बघू तुमचं स्पीड कमी होणार आहे.
Correct.
You keep your salt intake, you keep drinking electrolytes, you keep taking salt tablets, and at the base, you have about 40 to 60 grams of carbohydrate per hour.
Okay.
That is base.
Okay.
त्याच्यापेक्षा कमी I don't recommend.
Oh. Okay.
कारण hypoglycemia होऊ शकतो.
Okay.
But you have to cycle well. So you have to eat well on the cycle to have a good run.
Oh.
Current cycling मध्ये काय होतं, your legs, believe it or not, they are warmed up, they are primed to run.
Right.
Okay, so if running is your sport and cycling is not your sport, I will advise the same thing. You make sure that you eat really well on the cycle so that you can pelt it on the run.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Acha.
Yeah.
So nutrition, hydration पण when you are training for an event, let us say a triathlon or a marathon or a endurance cycling, तर हे न्यूट्रिशन हायड्रेशनचं पण ट्रेनिंग करणं गरजेचं आहे का? कारण बरेचदा काय होतं, व्हॉट पीपल म्हणजे इन आवर सर्कल्स किंवा हू आय नो, व्हॉट दे डू इज की देर इज अ इव्हेंट and then an week or 10 days it really hits them की आता इव्हेंट डेट जवळ आली आता मी न्यूट्रिशन हायड्रेशन चालू करतो तर डज दॅट बेनिफिट और इट डझंट रिअली डू एनिथिंग
Um, so everybody is different. Just yesterday, I had a tennis player who has like 45 minutes between his school and going for tennis practice.
ओके
आणि तो वरण भात बर्गर मस्त खाऊन तो his mom is like it's so heavy but he's like I'm fine.
हा
त्याला ते खूपच he's okay with it. I have
Okay.
one gymnast who literally has वरण भात and ती कोलांडोड्या मारायला लागते. I can't even think of that, right?
राईट
But this is something that they've been doing forever.
हा
तुम्ही ज्या ऍथलीट्स बद्दल बोलताय त्यांचा परफॉर्मन्स काहीही इम्प्रूव्ह होणार नाही.
ओके
तो तसाच राहणार आहे.
ओके
कारण त्यांनी कितीही एक आठवडा आधी न्यूट्रिशन हायड्रेशन कडे बघितलं तरी ते रेस डे वर दे आर गोइंग टू रिवर्ट टू व्हॉट एव्हर दे वर डुईंग
ओके
इन देअर प्रॅक्टिस बिकॉज
ओके
एन्झायटी पॅनिक नको बाबा मला जे येतं तेच मी करतो
राईट
इज गोइंग टू हॅपन.
राईट
सो इवन इफ ॲट द मोस्ट आय कॅन से दॅट दे विल स्टार्ट देअर रेस वेल
वेल ओके
you know in a well fed state.
Okay, okay. But then should everybody as a practice, म्हणजे जेव्हा you are training for something, include a nutrition hydration training schedule also in your training schedules. Generally people recommend की full Ironman करायचे तर you should start training 6 months prior or 4 months prior. So nutrition hydration also starts at the same time is what you would advise, or still it doesn't make a difference?
Absolutely start the moment you start training for a race because carbohydrates absorption आपल्या small intestine मध्ये होतो आणि
Okay.
तोंडात पण होतो.
Okay.
We just have to be ready. Our intestine has to have that much gut bacteria to be able to digest food in limited blood supply, right?
Okay.
Without drawing too much blood. Then you need to figure out what type of gels are best suited. तुम्ही
Right.
isotonic gels घेणार आहे का hypertonic gels घेणार आहे, right? आणि काय होतं लोकां एक्सरसाइज अगेन इट मेक्स यू फील रिअली गुड मेक्स यू फील व्हेरी अकम्प्लिश्ड बट फूड अँड न्यूट्रिशन अँड हायड्रेशन इज नॉट व्हेरी रिवॉर्डिंग इन्स्टंटली.
Yeah.
कधी कधी ट्रायल अँड
Correct.
एरर असतो
Correct.
तर ते लोक पीपल डोंट वॉन्ट गो थ्रू दॅट बट हिअर्स व्हॉट आय एम सेइंग वाय डू वॉन्ट गो थ्रू इट ऑन रेस डे.
Right.
यु नो यू आर बेटर ऑफ गोइंग थ्रू इट फॉर युअर ट्रेनिंग सेशन.
Right.
तुम्हाला स्विमिंग रनिंग अँड सायकलिंग झोपेत पण येणार आहे.
Right.
इट्स नॉट गोन बी अ प्रॉब्लेम.
Right. Right. And I heard somewhere the other day कि एक dialogue है कि eat before you are hungry and drink before you are thirsty.
Yeah.
So is there any standard let us say intervals की एवढ्या वेळानंतर ऑन अ सायकल तुम्हाला खायलाच पाहिजे किंवा प्यायलाच पाहिजे. रनिंग करताना 4 तास करणार असेल तर एव्हरी 45 मिनिट्स और लेट से एव्हरी 10 किलोमीटर्स यू हॅव टू हायड्रेट अँड
नाही, असं काही नाहीये.
असं काहीच नाही.
अप टू यू. फक्त तुम्ही ते सगळे जेल्स शेवटच्या तासात खाऊ नका.
Okay. Okay.
इन दॅट 1 hour you can have what you have planned
Okay.
according to the time that you feel comfortable.
Okay. Okay.
I have athletes who have a gel every 20 minutes.
Okay.
I have athletes who eat every 30 minutes.
Okay.
It can be then some people time a salt tablet with their second gel.
Right.
काही पण.
Okay.
आयर्नमॅन मध्ये जरा टाइमपास होतो. खाणं पिणं मग लक्ष जरा आपलं जातं इकडे तिकडे यु नो फ्रॉम द अदरवाइज रिअली लाईक इट कॅन बी व्हेरी डॉन्टिंग टू स्पेंड दॅट मच टाइम विथ युअर सेल्फ इन अन आयसोलेटेड कंट्री साइड. सो स्टिक टू अ routine that makes you feel happy. I have an athlete who recently went for the half Ironman World Championships in Majorca. It was very very difficult. With her, तिला ती गोड टेस्ट खूप जास्त व्हायला लागली. So we started timing mints,
Oh.
you know, and so it's बेसिकली व्हॉट वर्क्स फॉर यू.
Yeah.
असं काही नाहीये की कोचने सांगितलं अर्ध्याच तासाला खायचं नाही तुम्ही 20 मिनिटाला पण खाऊ शकता.
Okay.
असं काही नाही.
ओके. कारण दॅट इज वॉट वी हॅव बीन हिअरिंग की नाही तुम्ही प्रत्येक 30 मिनिटानंतर काहीतरी इनटेक घ्याच. सो
कारण 30 मिनिटं इज इनफ टाइम राईट.
Okay.
असं आपल्याला वाटतं की वी स्पेंड इनफ टाइम अँड ऍक्टिव्हिटी की आता आपण घेऊ शकतो. कधी
Okay.
कधी लोकांना 20 मिनिटं खूपच लवकर होतं. पण आय वन ॲथलीट इन साऊथ आफ्रिका ती 60 ग्रॅम कार्बोहायड्रेट म्हणजे शी रिअली ट्राईड बियॉन्ड हर सेल्फ. एव्हरी 20 तेव्हा मॉर्टिनचं ते मोठं जेल आलं नव्हतं तेव्हा ते मॉर्टिन 100च शी हॅज इटन एव्हरी 20 minutes 1 gel 100 which is incredible for a full marathon, right? So you're basically just eating
Right.
the entire run. ते तिला पटलं,
ओके.
कोणाला पटणार नाही.
ओके. कारण आता लाईटर साईड आहे की आमचंच एक्झाम्पल देतो की अ ग्रुप ऑफ फ्रेंड्स वेन वी स्टार्टेड सायकलिंग ना तेव्हा लाईक आय टोल्ड यू बिफोर वी स्टार्टेड शूटिंग दिस की आम्ही जेव्हा स्टार्ट केलं सायकलिंग तेव्हा वी फेल्ट की दिस इज अ सेन्स ऑफ अचीवमेंट की 30
Yeah.
किलोमीटर आज सायकलिंग केलं आज तर वी शुड इंडल सो वी वेंट फॉर अ बिअर
Yeah.
सो एक बिअर वर काय थांबलं नाही वी हॅड अ कपल ऑफ बिअर्स सो बरेचदा ना जे स्टार्टिंग आउट जे करतात ना त्यांना हा खूप एक ट्रिकी पार्ट असतो की देन यू फील की आपण वी शुड रिवॉर्ड आवर सेल्फ फॉर वी डन दिस मच सो ते कसं काय गेज करायचं की हाऊ मच टू इंडल्ज हाऊ नॉट टू इंडल्ज
No, so I think that if you are doing something for the very first time and it's producing so much elation and so much joy in your brain, then you should just literally do whatever you feel like
ओके
on that day for sure. But then you realize that जेव्हा तुम्ही 30 चं 60 करता, it's not going to produce the same feelings in your mind. But if
Right.
you still choose to have your 6 beers, then that's on you. Definitely, तुम्ही जेव्हा 0 to 30 is a huge number. 0
Right.
to 50. You know, we have these milestones set in our
Right.
brain. First half marathon, first
Right.
50K,
Right.
first 100K.
राईट
Not a lot of people can do this.
राईट
So definitely, I will never take it away from you. But when you are progressing, you're habituated to that activity, you know, then you have to sort of be very careful about what your health is, what
Right.
what your family history is,
Right.
right? 30 किलोमीटर सायकलिंग किंवा 100 किलोमीटर सायकलिंग केल्यावर ऑटोमॅटिकली तुमचे काय आर्टरीज आणि वेन्स एकदम मस्त क्लिअर नाही होणार आहेत, ते तसंच राहणार आहे.
बरोबर
And chances are you probably are also dehydrated and your heart is pretty stressed. So if you have history of cardiovascular condition, if तुमच्या आई-बाबांना झाला असेल, God forbid, तर you always have to be careful.
करेक्ट करेक्ट कारण जनरली आमच्या पण ग्रुपमध्ये छान राईड झाले की चला आज चहा बनमस्का भेटू सो
हो.
देन ते द फिलिंग इज नाईस किंवा टाइमपास करतोय आपण पण देन डज दॅट वर्क अगेन्स्ट दॅट
You
पर्टिक्युलर
have to test yourself and see.
ओके
It's a good idea if you're above 45 and
Okay.
if you want, if this is a lifestyle you see for yourself, if it makes you happy, every 3 months kara lipid profile.
ओके
If it's okay, then you go.
Oh,
If it is
nice.
affecting, then you write down everything that you think could be affecting.
Nice.
And then slowly try and eliminate. मग पुढच्या 3 महिन्यांनी करा. मग स्वतःलाच बघा ना.
राईट 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 सो थोडंसं ना कन्फ्युजन स्टेट पण आहे म्हणजे व्हॉट आय मीन बाय कन्फ्युजन इज जेव्हा आय स्टार्ट म्हणजे वेन आय गेट इन टू ऑल दिस एन्ड्युरन्स स्पोर्ट किंवा मी बेसिक इझी सायकलिंग करतोय तेव्हा आय एम नॉट शुअर की मला किती खायला पाहिजे कारण जनरली काय होतं आम्ही बघितलं असं की आम्ही जेव्हा इझी टूर्सला जातो ना तेव्हा लोकांना वाटतं की अरे आता थांबलो आता जेव्हा पण थांबतो आय हॅव टू ईट समथिंग प्रॉब्ली दॅट्स अ नोशन की मी काहीतरी एक्सरसाइज केली आता आय हॅव टू रिफ्युएल लाईक यू सेट किंवा असं बरेचदा होतं की लोकांना नक्की कळत नाही की वेन यू से की काय व्हॉट एव्हर द कॅल्क्युलेशन्स आर की एवढं बॉडी वेट असेल तर एवढं प्रोटीन एवढं कार्ब तर ते कसं कॅल्क्युलेट करायचं किंवा फॉर एक्झाम्पल तू सांगितलंस की बाबा 2 बनाना म्हणजे एवढं सो हे थोडंसं वी विल क्लिअर सम डाऊट्स कारण ते मलाही होते कारण असं व्हायचं की थांबलं की काहीतरी थांबलं नंतर वेन आय स्टार्टेड ट्रेनिंग मग ते कमी झालं मग ते मला रिअलाइज झालं की मला खरं एवढं लागत नाही ह्याच्यात पण मी सेम परफॉर्मन्स देऊ शकते पण दॅट इज वेन आय स्टार्टेड अनालायझिंग माय सेल्फ पण इनिशियली खूप कन्फ्युजन असतं सो हे कसं गेज करायचं किंवा हे कसं ठरवायचं
मी सुरुवातीला तर असं म्हणेन की जेव्हा तुम्ही तुमची टूर्स घेऊन जाता
हां
let them eat. Let
ओके
them stop and eat. Don't because
Okay.
you just don't know what the other person's physicality is like,
ओके फेअर इनफ
right? And so if they feel comfortable doing the next 15 kilometers after having eaten something, that's totally fine.
ओके
Okay, so let them eat. That is the first thing. And the second thing is that तुम्ही आता म्हणलात की मी जेव्हा स्टार्ट केली ऍक्टिव्हिटी तेव्हा कन्फ्युजन होतं आणि मग नंतर मला वाटायला मग मी खाल्लं मग मी कमी गेलो
राईट
So this is all important.
Right.
The rule says that if you are cycling to get better at the activity, then you need 60 grams carbohydrate per hour. आता तुम्हाला
Okay.
mentally असं वाटत असेल की काय गरज आहे, गरज नाही. This is what the rule says.
Okay.
Yeah. So you have to go according to that.
Okay.
Yeah. That is, नाही तर तुमचा level तिकडेच राहणार आहे.
Okay.
You're not going to be able to, like for example, if you're already at 160 watts FTP, to go from 160 to 165 is so hard.
Right.
Right? And if you're doing everything possible to do
Right.
that,
Right.
then you probably just need to eat a little bit more.
Right. Right.
Then there is also a group of people who exercise and who are so convinced that they don't need to eat.
Huh.
Right?
Yes.
Then don't eat, but then remember that you can't expect your body to go through a couple of hours of exercising and actually get better. Your immune system will drop.
Okay.
You're going to be tired. You're going to be bored to exercise
Okay.
the next day.
Oh. Okay.
You want to be super excited. This is your sport. You've chosen to do this on top of your job and family life.
Yes,
This and
correct.
that. So in order to show up ready, it also means fueling.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. If you don't want to pursue it, if it's a very if it's a lovely hobby, then just by sheer exercise adaptation, you can go 90 minutes also.
Barabar. What you're saying is absolutely right. Yeah.
Then drink your electrolyte drink without sugar. Can do every day 90 minutes. Don't eat. It's going to be fine because you have enough to sustain. You're going to have enough to sustain for 90 minutes. But then the moment you want to do a tour, or you want to do ultra, or you want to do even 100K, that's not going to work.
Okay.
Then your gut is not used to eating.
Right.
Yeah. Then you decide which bracket you fall in.
Okay. Okay. आणि जनरली फॉर मेन मेन आणि वुमेन मध्ये काही डिफरन्सेस असतात इन दिस कॅल्क्युलेशन की इट इज सेम फॉर एव्हरीबडी
Yes.
सेम फॉर
Just because women have a little more fat, we use a little more fat. Men use a little more carbs.
ओके
पण काही फरक नाही.
काहीच फरक नाही आणि जनरली रॅन्डम जेव्हा तू म्हणतेस हे सगळे पर ग्रॅम ऑफ कार्ब्स तर त्याचं काहीतरी एक्झाम्पल देऊन
हो. One banana is usually 25 grams of
Okay.
carbohydrates. Yeah.
Okay.
So 60 grams is going to be like 2 bananas and one limbu sarbat.
Okay. So that in how much time हे तू म्हणतेस ते
So I'm just saying this is an example of 60 grams.
Yeah.
Okay. And ideally you need to consume 60 grams of carbohydrate per hour.
per hour.
Yeah. Now this could be in any form. It could be if you think हे खूपच खाणं आहे मग तुम्ही एक 45 ग्रॅमचं जेल घ्या
ओके
आणि मग एक एनर्जालचं एक 50 ग्रॅमचं सॅशे टाका 500 ml बाटलीत झालं 60.
राईट सो दॅट नाही तर सायकोलॉजिकली असं वाटेल की सारखं मी बनानाच खातोय मग त्रास होतोय आणि ओके सो दॅट इज हाऊ यू ब्रेक इट अप ओके ओके सो आता जसं आपण म्हटलं की बनानाज आणि इलेक्ट्रोलाइट आणि दॅट कॅन बी सबस्टिट्युटेड in the next hour by say energy gels किंवा जेल्स सो जेल्स आजकाल इज अ लेटेस्ट ट्रेंड म्हणजे आम्ही पण बरंच वापरतो आणि लाईक यू राईटली सेड ते 4 बनानाच खायचे खूप जास्ती वाटतं मग जेल्स बिकम इझियर सो हाऊ डू यू रेकमेंड जेल्स कारण काही लोकांचा परत अजून एक काय प्रॉब्लेम आहे माहिती ते त्यांना घेतलं की इट्स समथिंग दॅट यू आर नॉट यूज टू इट त्यामुळे पीपल आर व्हेरी रिलक्टंट टू हॅव इट सो त्याची पण प्रॅक्टिस करायला पाहिजे का
हो नक्कीच सो देर आर there is just one source of carbohydrate or one form of carbohydrate and there are multiple absorbable carbohydrates.
Okay.
There is a single absorbable carbohydrate and a multiple absorbable carbohydrate, right? So let me answer the comparison to banana. Banana is a fruit and it predominantly has fructose, which is fruit sugar. Now research shows that if you eat only fructose, what is the overall carbohydrate absorption? We've established now it's 60 grams.
Yeah.
It actually goes down.
Okay.
Your overall carbohydrate absorption goes down because all your carbohydrate receptors are fructosified.
Okay. Acha.
But if you have a combination of glucose and fructose, then your carbohydrate absorption can go even as high as 62, 63 grams per hour.
Okay.
And that's what you want when you're targeting performance. Why do you want to put in so much effort and the body is not able to very efficiently absorb carbohydrates?
Okay.
So gelची गरज असतेच. That is why it is made, because it
Right.
has multiple transportable carbohydrates, right? It has fructose and it has glucose. Fructose and glucose. So it's going to actually enhance your
Okay.
carbohydrate absorption.
Okay.
Now the second point is about taste. Absolutely. Different people, swallowing capacity, they could gag, right? So व्यायाम न करता येता जाताना कम्प्युटरवर काम करताना ते जेल घ्या.
Right.
And see how, try a variety of gels. There are viscous gels which are hypertonic. They are, more concentrated than your plasma.
Okay.
So the recommendation is that if you're having a gel which is like gooey, then you need to drink something with it so that your intestine does not draw water to digest it, and then you have to go to the bathroom.
Okay.
So तुम्ही ते try करा. Some people like that. They can swallow it better than a watery gel.
Okay.
Yeah. So watery gel are generally isotonic. They're water based. They are like a gel, like a jelly sarkha असतं. And then they say that no need to have water with this. It has enough of liquid that there is no extra fluid that's going to be taken in while digesting this gel.
Okay.
So there are a variety of gels available in the market. If you want to improve your performance, use everything. 1 hour can be a banana, 1 hour can be a gel, 1 hour can be dates, 1 hour can be nothing, only energy drink.
Okay.
Right? And energy drinks versus limbu sarbat. Say, now white sugar or table sugar is a disaccharide. It is a combination of two sugars. So why do you want your body to then break it down? This is very nuanced, but of course, at a beginner level, काही करणार नाही. चहा पिऊन छान वाटतं, सायकल असंच होणार आहे.
100%.
आता आपण डिस्कस करतोय म्हणून मी सांगतेय की when you talk about an energy drink, it also has the optimal ratio of glucose to fructose. It's usually a 5 or a 6% concentrated solution. म्हणजे 500 ml मध्ये काहीतरी 20 ते 30 ग्रॅम कार्बोहायड्रेट्स असतात. आणि that is a combination of glucose and fructose. So again, it's going to increase your absorption. That is why मी असं माझ्याकडे ज्युनियर ॲथलीट्स येतात त्यांना मी म्हणत नाही की रोजच काहीतरी स्टेडफास्ट घ्या किंवा एनर्जी हलकी. मी म्हणते घ्या ना तुम्ही फ्रूट ज्यूस मीठ टाकून घ्या. दॅट इज ऑल्सो एनर्जी ड्रिंक विथ इलेक्ट्रोलाइट. पण रेस डेला हे असल्या गोष्टी करू नका.
राईट.
रेस डेला स्टिक टू कमर्शियल ड्रिंक.
ओके. आणि अजून एक गोष्ट म्हणजे सो इनिशियली सोशलायझिंग खूप व्हायचं आणि आता विथ ऑल दिस न्यू ट्रेंड इन आवर लाईफ ऑल्सो वी कट डाऊन ऑन सोशलायझिंग. म्हणजे बेसिकली आय एम सेइंग की अल्कोहोल इनटेक कमी झालाय पण कॅफिन इनटेक वाढलाय. सो ऑल द मीटिंग्स आणि मीटअप्स आर कॉफी बेस्ड. सो कॅफिन, हाऊ डज कॅफिन रिअली वर्क फॉर ॲथलीट्स? म्हणजे तू मगाशी ॲथलीट्सचा खूप चांगलं डेफिनेशन दिलं. सो फॉर दॅट काइंड ऑफ अ पर्सन हाऊ डज, कारण आता कॉफी मीट्स हॅव बिकम द न्यू थिंग.
Right. So caffeine is the only what are called as ergogenic aids, म्हणजे performance enhancing aid.
Okay.
Only legal performance enhancing aid.
Okay.
It reduces perception of fatigue, it increases focus, increases clarity, and it really helps you push.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That being said, everybody reacts to caffeine very differently.
Right.
There are slow metabolizers of caffeine. There are fast metabolizers of caffeine. Fast metabolizers are कॉफी पिल्यावर मस्त वाटतं इन्स्टंटली.
ओके.
लोक म्हणतात कॉफी पिऊन मी झोपतो वगैरे.
बरोबर.
स्लो मेटाबोलायझर्स.
ओके.
आणि इंडियामध्ये कॉफी इज व्हेरी दुधाची कॉफी.
राईट.
सो दॅट इज एनीवेज अ लिटल बिट डायल्युटेड. बट वी टॉक अबाउट कॅफिन.
राईट.
सो it is going to help you in your performance. There is no doubt about it. It's just that, are you ready for it or not?
Okay.
It's never the caffeine that's the problem, okay? It's you and how you are as a person.
Okay.
If you can stomach one shot of espresso on the bike, which is 63 milligrams of caffeine, then you can have 130-40 mg's of gel. काय त्याचं?
अच्छा.
नाही का? Here's what I will say. Don't have it every hour because caffeine's half life is also 6 hours.
Acha.
So have it when you in the middle or towards the end.
Acha.
Like in a 100-kilometer race, I feel personally like the 60 to 70 kilometers are the worst. It's like neither here nor there, right? In a marathon, the distance from 25 to 35 kilometers is worst.
Correct.
Because खूप केलंय पण
हो,
खूप करायचं,
आलंय.
you're a no man's land.
Correct, absolutely right.
You can feel your focus waning at that time. तेव्हा a nice caffeinated gel will just get you back on track.
Oh, okay, nice.
प्रत्येक तासाला घ्यायची गरज नाहीये, कारण डिहायड्रेटेड स्टेटमध्ये कॅफिन कॅन कॉज टॅकिकार्डिया, विच इज उगाचच पॅल्पिटेशन्स होतात
Okay.
आणि आपले सगळे परसेप्शन्स थोडेसे हायटन्ड असतात जेव्हा आपण ट्रेनिंग करतो तेव्हा. दॅट्स द होल पॉइंट ऑफ इट. सो अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स कॅन बी एक्झॅज्युरेटेड इन आवर माइंड की अरे असं असं होतं.
Okay.
सो यूज कॅफिन ड्युरिंग ट्रेनिंग, यूज इट वाइजली. First of all, drink an espresso shot
Okay.
while you're cycling, or
Okay.
drink it and start running and see how you feel.
Oh,
Test.
okay.
आणि मग एखाद 2 कॅफिनेटेड जेल्स इन अ रेस इज परफेक्टली फाईन.
Oh, okay.
काही काही लोकांना अजिबात सूट नाही होत, काही काही
Correct,
लोकांना होतो. ज्यांना होतं त्यांनी वापरा.
Oh, okay. आणि इन ऍडिशन टू ऑल दिस काही सप्लिमेंट्स, म्हणजे आजकाल बरेच टॅब्स किंवा असं मॅग्नेशियम टॅबलेट्स आणि हा टॅबलेट्स ते टॅबलेट्स असे येतात, तर ते डज इट हेल्प ऑर?
Again, it's very individual.
Okay.
The non-negotiable blood tests that you must do as athletes are D3, B12.
ओके.
कारण जर तुमचे D3 लेवल्स कमी असतील, सो तुमचं कॅल्शियमचं अब्झॉर्प्शनच कमी आहे, आणि एव्हरी मसल कॉन्ट्रॅक्शन रिक्वायर्स कॅल्शियम. मग तुम्ही
Okay.
वर्कआउटच नका करू जर तुम्हाला सप्लिमेंट नसेल करायचं.
ओके.
आणि हे खाण्यातनं नाही मिळत. कितीही
Okay.
अंडी खाल्ली, कितीही उन्हात राहिलो तरी
ओके.
we don't absorb
Okay.
it that well, sadly. So D3 definitely needs to be supplemented, and B12, because B12 is required for the formation of red blood cells. Red blood cells are your oxygen carrying.
Right.
So it's like natural doping.
Right.
You keep your B12 more than 400, anywhere between 400 to 800, and you will see that you're really looking forward to the activity. Your mental state is good. And you're progressing, your body is able to take that load that you want to put it through.
ओके.
But with B12 levels of 200, 300, 150, very, very low.
ओके.
That's torture on the body.
ओके. ओके.
That is definitely. Magnesium also is important because it regulates your heart rate. It regulates your nervous system. Some forms of magnesium help you in your bowel movements. Some form of magnesium help you sleep better. So depending on what you need at that point, definitely take magnesium. There's no problem. Up to 400 mg you can take
ओके.
a day. So I think creatine is a very popular supplement right now.
अच्छा.
Here's what I will tell you, that it's an energy source at the end of the day.
Okay.
You have created, I have created, everybody has created. Okay, because if we're eating a variety of foods in the day, it's made from the breakdown of 3 proteins. It's made from the breakdown of 3 amino acids in the
Okay.
body. So if your protein is good, your creatine is good.
ओके.
So it is the first energy source that the body taps into.
ओके.
Okay, and it's resynthesized very quickly.
ओके.
Because फक्त 2 ग्रॅम क्रिएटिनच असतं आपल्यामध्ये, आपल्या मसल्समध्ये. So when you supplement creatine, it is going to delay the use of carbohydrates for some time.
अच्छा.
But even that some time is good. It will help you get
Right.
that interval.
Right.
Or if you're cycling steady and you want to break away,
हा.
मग परत तुमचं क्रिएटिन येऊ शकतं छानपैकी, in the all of that. It helps increase focus, improve recovery, because basically it's more energy.
राईट.
Everybody is jumping onto it. Here's what I will say. Do it without first. Like, reach your potential. कारण मग ते रोजच ती सप्लिमेंट घ्यायला लागेल to reap the benefits.
Right.
It's a great supplement, creatine monohydrate.
ओके. ओके.
पण आपल्याला 90% लोकांना गरज नसते त्याची.
ओके.
हा, प्लसिबो इफेक्ट असतो. अरे घेतलंय म्हणून मी करतोय, राईट. आणि ज्या दिवशी वर्कआउट नाही गेला त्या दिवशी नाही घेतलं, मग हे कुठे? इट डजंट वर्क लाईक दॅट.
ओके.
Commit to it if you are, and then see how you feel with
Right.
it. Experience that surge in energy, growth in muscle mass, improved recovery,
ओके.
and then you know that when you are in racing season you can always come back to it.
राईट. राईट. आत्ता तू एक हे मेन्शन केलंस, ग्रोथ इन मसल मास, तर त्याच्यावरनं मला एक विचारायचं आहे की वेन पीपल आर इन टू ट्रेनिंग, की बरेचदा असं पण होतं की आता माझं वजन वाढलंय, आय नीड टू डू समथिंग, अँड देन पीपल स्टार्ट ट्रेनिंग. समबडी हॅज सीन समवन की हा सायकलिंग खूप करतो, हा रनिंग खूप करतो, याचं बॉडी प्रपोर्शनेट झाली आहे किंवा बारीक झालं आहे, आणि दॅट इज द डायरेक्ट रिलेशन की he is doing something, he is exercising, so he is losing weight and he is becoming healthier. तर is this a direct relation or there is a loss in muscle mass and that is unhealthy actually? म्हणजे how does that happen? So fat loss, muscle loss, how does one gauge की training मध्ये what is exactly happening?
Firstly, you do a scan. Either you do a DEXA scan or you do an in-body scan. And
Okay.
actually see for yourself की
Okay.
काय कमी होत आहे.
Okay.
आणि हा पण एक मिसकन्सेप्शन आहे की कार्डिओनी मसल लॉस होतो आणि स्ट्रेंथ ट्रेनिंगनी काय मसल गेन होतो.
हा.
दोन्ही ऍक्टिव्हिटीज एनी ऍक्टिव्हिटी इज गोइंग टू स्टिम्युलेट मसल बिल्डिंग pathways only.
Okay.
It is all about how much time are you spending in it and how well fueled you are.
Okay.
If you're not fueled, you're going to start using muscle.
Okay.
Okay, because it's still has lesser carbons than fat. Fat is like it's a long chain.
Right.
So before your body taps into fat, it's going to try and tap into muscle also.
Okay.
Okay, so you have to be fueled. That's the first thing. Losing weight while training. So what is and also if you have lost muscle mass, प्रतिकार शक्तीच कमी होईल ना.
Correct.
Basically, muscle is immunity.
Correct.
You're going to सर्दी सारखी होती है.
Correct.
That is a very common complaint of people who are not eating enough. They're
Correct.
constantly
Oh.
sick and constantly tired.
Okay.
Right? So ते तसं सगळं होत असेल तर मग you are losing muscle mass. And
Okay.
you're basically not eating enough. It's not the fault of the cycling. Again, it's you only. You're only not doing what has to be done. Right?
Nice.
Yeah.
So that means nutrition is actually directly connected to losing weight also. म्हणजे it sounds a little opposite, but if you are not well fed,
Yeah.
you will
lose
lose weight.
muscle. Yeah. You will lose fat, obviously.
Fat, हाँ.
But एकच टिश्यू कधी खाली नाही जात. So when people are on a weight loss diet, we encourage them to exercise as much as they can so that they don't lose muscle. It's, but that's a different topic altogether. If you're comparing yourself to somebody else who's lost weight in endurance sport, it's because of the consistency.
Right.
Ultimately, what is fat loss, right? You have to be able to take in that much oxygen. You have to be fat adapted. So fat adapted will only happen if you day in day out तो तुमचा तुम्ही वर्कआउट करताय.
Keep doing.
Yeah. And if you're trying to lose fat, then don't sign up for an ultra race. Don't do a 70.3 or an ultra cycling event because it's very contradictory. You won't be able to eat that much. You still have to exercise so that you don't lose muscle and get fat adapted. But then unless you're in a calorie deficit, you won't be able to visibly see the results. You can't be in a calorie deficit because then you'll fall sick and you won't be able to show up for your training sessions. So so I tell people, please माझ्याकडे येऊ नका if you want to lose weight and काहीतरी 3 महिन्यात वगैरे रेस असेल तर.
Oh, अच्छा.
रेस झाल्यावर आपण तेच करू.
Okay. This is an interesting point because this happens with a lot of people. Ki now I want to lose weight, now I want to become fit. So let me register for something. So that will motivate me and probably that will make me lose weight. So it is, and me register पण करेन. So trying to achieve everything.
If the race is next year, it's fine.
Okay. So अजून एक टर्म आजकाल खूप ऐकायला मिळते इज गट हेल्थ. सो व्हॉट एक्झॅक्टली इज गट हेल्थ अँड हाऊ डू आय असेस की माय गट इज गुड और आय हॅव अ गुड गट और अ गुड absorption capacity? My gut is absorbing well. How does...
Are you asking me in terms of training?
Yeah, म्हणजे if an athlete is doing all this nutrition and he's trying say different, let us say a whey powder or gel, how do I realize कि it is really helping me, my gut is absorbing what it is supposed to absorb?
Yeah. So whole foods मधनं absorption कधीच 100% नसतो. That is just something that happens. There are always थोडंसं waste होतो.
Okay.
It's just something very natural. So gut is generally the small intestine and the large intestine.
Okay.
And, so because carbohydrates absorption तिकडे होतो.
Okay.
Mostly.
Okay.
So how do you know whether you are keeping good gut health is if you eat something and you just continuously keep thinking about it की I feel like मग burps येतात, मग gas होतो, मग uncomfortable वाटायला लागतो. Like you just need to do something and just want that food to be digested.
Okay.
Okay. If you are not passing regular bowel movements,
Okay.
ट्रेनिंग नंतर ब्लोटिंग होतं,
Okay.
असं पण होऊ शकतं कधी कधी.
Okay.
हेडेक होतो, क्रॉनिक हेडेक होतो.
Okay.
Because some foods are not sitting, we say sitting well with you.
Okay. Okay.
So those are all signs of gut health.
Oh.
If you can eat something and comfortably be able to do your training, you have good gut health with respect to that food and that training session.
Okay. Okay.
Which is why it's a good idea to just eat the same thing for every training session. काहीही व्हरायटीची गरज नाही. If it's working for you, you please continue it.
Okay. Okay. That will benefit your training and your performance eventually.
Now, with regards to powders, definitely they're already processed. They're
Okay.
already processed. So your body is not going to break them down per se. It's just going to absorb.
Okay.
Okay. With protein, what happens is it is a pretty dense protein powders. Sometimes can be pretty dense. Okay. So कधी कधी असं खूप full किंवा bloated वाटू शकतं.
Okay.
So what you do is you eat it in bits and pieces. पहिल्यांदाच अख्खा स्कूप घ्यायच्या ऐवजी थोडं 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 घ्यायचं
Oh.
and get your stomach used to
Used to it.
handling the protein.
Okay.
आणि कधी कधी it is not the protein. We are reactive to the artificial flavoring or the preservative, but ultimately we are not going to have the protein powder. So then it's a good idea to experiment with a bunch of protein powders also.
Okay.
See which suits you.
Okay.
And again, if you are eating a whole food diet, maybe you don't need the protein powders.
Okay.
Okay, if you're not falling sick, if your in-body scan is showing that you're not maybe not gaining, but if you're not dropping any more muscle, and if you're feeling good, full of life, and then you don't probably need that extra protein.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
आणि लहानपणी म्हणजे every senior person used to say ki you should have fibers, it helps digestion. So is that true, or again that's sort of a myth?
So that's literally the only thing that helps with digestion. Fiber is
okay.
very, very important.
Okay.
That being said, fiberचा आपल्याला प्री ट्रेनिंग, ड्युरिंग ट्रेनिंग आणि पोस्ट ट्रेनिंग काही रोल नसतो.
Okay.
Because you don't want to eat something that does not get absorbed in the body and that propels you to go to the bathroom.
Okay.
So pre-run, eat something which really doesn't have fiber. During training, absolutely no fiber.
Okay.
And again, the immediate snack post-run. Then later, when you are in a comfortable environment, please revert back to fiber-containing foods. Fiber is very, very important. So that is why gut health is about what you do every day. How much vegetable are you eating? How much whole grains are you eating? How many lentils and beans are you eating? So that's going to promote the formation of good gut bacteria, which is then eventually going to help you absorb even simple sugars better.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. So आत्तापर्यंत we have had a very theoretical and very असं focused discussion. And I want to ask any anecdotes or any incidences with your trainees that you had कि you have told them do this, follow this diet, and somebody has said कि हाँ वो बोलेगी but मैं तो यही करने वाला हूँ, and then has it kind of gone in the wrong direction?
Yes. So a lot of people think that I make up these numbers, that
Okay.
they don't really, they're so fit that they don't need to eat all this. So I think this was during lockdown maybe, or I don't remember when, but maybe it was not. Maybe I have a client who was doing a half Ironman simulation in his house.
Okay.
You can, right? You can swim, you can ride on the trainer, and then you can run. And he just kept drinking water and only taking a salt tablet.
Oh.
And he's actually a runner. And he said, I couldn't even do one stride also of the run he couldn't do. Because he just cramped so badly. And then he was like, I don't know. He was like, it was a mixture of just getting exhausted, but frustrated, that exhausted, but cramped, but doubly frustrated that he's exhausted and cramped. But thankfully, he had the presence of mind to realize that this is because he just didn't fuel at all. His blood glucose levels dropped so low that probably check nahi kele tani, that there was no energy to even tie his shoes and step onto the run. You know. So then now if you tell him to eat a 3 kg Black Forest cake before the run, he will eat it. He's like, just tell me what to do, I will do it.
So there are people who learned it the hard way.
And that's what I try to tell them, that don't try and learn this the hard way, you know. Just listen to what I'm saying and it will be fine.
Yeah. And something like hypoglycemia, people don't know what really happens.
Yeah.
So any incidents or anything that you would like to...
Yeah, so hypoglycemia is generally when your blood sugar goes below 70 milligrams per deciliter, right? It should ideally stay between 70 to 100 or 120. Absolutely. So hypoglycemia is when people are feeling okay and they feel that they don't need to eat, and everything is fine until suddenly it just stops becoming fine.
Exactly.
You are still cycling, but something is happening, you know. You're losing a little bit of focus, but then you blame it on the tiredness. Then after some time, you know, your bike starts swerving where you don't want it to swerve, and it's a lot of effort to sit there and focus. So the mental acuity kami hote, right? Because even brain needs glucose.
Right.
So te jeva sagad kami hota, that is called as hypoglycemia. And the worst cases are obviously losing consciousness and, you know.
And this is triggered by what? Again, under nutrition.
This is just not eating carbohydrates. Not eating carbohydrates. Even if you drink, आजकल sugar-free electrolyte drinks मिळतात. So people think that is okay. You know, salt ने ते करू शकतात. पण no, you know, and then they'll start their workout also fasted, and they'll run out of the intramuscular glucose. They'll run out of the glucose that's stored in the liver also, because it is also stored in the liver. And basically, when you're exercising, you're using the glucose that is stored in the muscles. Your liver is functioning to keep your blood sugar stable. And दोन्ही मधले जेव्हा glucose reservoirs कमी होतात, but the adrenaline is still there and the muscle memory is still there. So you're going to keep going with the activity, but it could really be not end up nicely.
Does it also mean that you should always eat before you are hungry and drink before you are thirsty, so that something like a hypoglycemia doesn't happen?
So if you are somebody who has just started an activity, then that rule applies. Okay. But if you are somebody who is habituated to the activity, then your thirst cues and your hunger cues are also going to be pretty much on point. It could just be like a mental setting. So तुम्हाला, even if you're not hungry, तुम्हाला त्यावेळेला there is going to be a sensation somewhere saying, time to eat a gel. Like, don't ignore that. जसं आपण जेव्हा बसतो खायला, तेव्हा कुठेतरी आपलं स्टमक म्हणतं की आता बस. You override that and then you continue eating if you want to. When you are training, don't ignore that. You will override it saying, hey, गरज नाहीये. Don't do that. Eat it. And drink that water. Okay. So there are different theories about drinking to thirst, right? There is also, like you said, it is said that don't wait till you are thirsty and drink. But if you drink more water while not being thirsty, it could lead to a condition called as hyponatremia, which is just dilution of existing sodium stores in the body. Now, if you are drinking an electrolyte drink, when you're not thirsty, you'll probably take a couple of sips and that should be okay. If you're drinking plain water, my suggestion is don't drink if you're not thirsty, if you're habituated to the activity. If you're trying to drink from not drinking to drinking, then plan your drinks. But even I think with electrolyte drinks, it's a good idea to have a base number. की मी प्रत्येक तासाला 500 ml संपवणार आहे, ह्याच्या पुढे गरज नाहीये, because even on a cycle it'll just sit swishing in your stomach.
Yes.
On the run, if you are somebody who takes 3 hours to run a half marathon, then that water could just add up the weight on your body. Right? And hyponatremia is also a condition where you can lose focus, you can get a headache, you can feel dizzy, you can get brain fog. But hoping you're not drinking only plain water, you're drinking electrolytes, it's a good idea to just have a basic number. की मी 300 ते मॅरेथॉन मध्ये एवढीशी कप देतात ते 2 कप तरी मी पिणारच आहे.
करेक्ट.
काही होणार नाही. Now, if you start stopping at every aid station and drinking because you've paid for it, may not work.
Okay. On our Strava or your parameters, na, generally we see calories burned today. And then people think, oh wow, I burned so many calories today. Let me replenish some of them by again rewarding or, saying ki I'm okay to have that piece of cake or whatever. So the kharach is that whatever it shows, is it real numbers and तेवढे calories burn झाले असतात आणि मग ते परत replenish करायची गरज आहे की असं काही नाही आहे. It's just a mental game.
So there are a lot of variables to this. I wish the answer was very simple. First of all, have you actually fed in all your parameters onto the watch?
Okay.
That is the first thing.
Okay.
Every activity has a different metabolic score, like a MET score. That that is what is the increased oxygen capacity that is required, right?
Okay.
Every activity has a different MET score. So have you put in your age, your height, how much time you trained, all of that. And if you have, then you're going to get a number, which is okay, but it's never going to be 100% accurate because it's never, that's just the reality.
Right.
Nothing is 100% accurate.
Right.
Okay. Then it all depends on what your goal is. See, if your goal is weight loss, then you have to treat whatever calories you burn through exercise as bonus.
Okay.
You have to stick to your diet.
Okay.
Exercise is extra.
Okay.
That math will never add up.
Okay.
Okay. If your goal is not weight loss, if just seeing that number on the scale, you're feeling happy about it and you want to have that piece of cake, have it regardless. Don't have it because you have it because you moved, you did something good for your body.
Okay.
Now you want to do something good for your brain.
Okay.
It's fine.
Nice.
Yeah. If you're going to be exercising more than what your usual is, and if you're going to be eating less than what you usually eat because you want a certain physical goal, and if it is happening, then you are definitely in a calorie deficit. But if you're going to eat because you think you burnt some calories, that is hard. That is hard. Because see, we always burn less than what we think we burn, and we always eat more than what we think we eat.
Right.
So,
Right. Nice.
Yeah.
So before we end this discussion, which has been a great discussion आणि खूप मला पण बरंच काय काय शिकायला मिळालंय, but before we end, there is one question that I want to address. This is very typical in a community like ours, okay, where we are not athletes per se. We are probably leisure or a community cyclist. What happens is, in the week, people are busy with their schedule. So there is a 20-kilometer ride or a walk or a light jog. And when the weekend comes, everybody wants to go for numbers, go for bigger rides or longer rides, or do something which, say, a Grand Fondo, which again really gives you a good this thing on Strava. So you do 100 kilometers. So you are not doing anything really to build up to that 100 in a broader sense, exercise-wise and probably nutrition-wise. But you still want to do that 100. So is there any, I wouldn't call it a shortcut, but a way where you can do that 100 and you have some good nutrition for that particular day and you are able to do that 100 easily? असं काही आहे का?
You can only do an exercise easily if you train for it. There's a reason that there are coaches, that there are training, there are on seasons, off seasons, that we actually pay somebody to train us.
Correct.
That's because you need your muscles to be used to those many muscle contractions.
Okay.
That is the basic thing.
Okay.
The nutrition doesn't change. You still have to eat what you have to eat.
Okay.
It's not related to nutrition, but is your heart ready? What if you just get a heart attack?
Okay.
Because throughout the day, you've been not sleeping well, you've been working at your desk, but then you decide to do this century ride. is your stroke volume, is it going to supply that much blood to your working muscles?
Okay.
What is your cardiac output? All of that, right? You have to train it slowly.
Okay.
You have to have small benchmarks that increase your feelings of efficacy so that you don't have to depend on a certain number to make you feel good.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So there is no diet will help you do that glory ride असं काहीच नाही आहे. Oh, that is good because we have been seeing this phenomena where there's not much of activity during the week, but you want to have that glory ride on a week or a run or whatever activity which really makes you feel happy की मी आज एवढं केलं because somebody else is doing it or for whatever reason. So there is no diet that you can.
No, I mean, it is just not going to work for you if anything, because even your stomach muscles are not used to handling that much food and beverage, right? Your
Right.
hunger cues, your thirst cues, nothing really is going to be on point. It's only adrenaline and FOMO that's basically driving
Correct.
you.
Correct. Right. So great. So probably on that note, we say thank you again. Ki you have really spoken well and clarified a lot of doubts for a lot of people out there. And it's not just us. It is a lot of people who will want to listen to this and get a lot from it. Current triathlons, ultra events, running, we are on the rise. So I think people like you really make a difference to the community. So thank you for that. And thank you for coming today to this podcast.
Happy to help. Thank you for asking me very good, interesting questions.
Thanks. Our pleasure.